I do what it takes, and thank you for doing what it takes to get you here this morning on our B1G1 Connect Plus for the month of April. So good morning, good morning, good morning. And as I was saying, or good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are, because it could be all sorts of different things. And in fact, let's tell you what, let's find out where you are. And there's a reason for doing this as well. We love to make these things interactive, absolutely interactive. And that means you don't just sit there and have a beverage or whatever. You actually get involved and you type. Make sure when you type in the chat, that you make it to all panelists and all of that kind of stuff. I see, Masami, we've got 5 new messages there as well. So Masami's going to be looking at the chat and all of that kind of stuff. So let me just share my screen again. So here we go. Do make sure you let us know this. First of all, where are you? Jump up on the chat. You're somewhere in the world. Jump up on the chat. Where are you? Be very specific. Don't just say Australia. Say Sunshine Coast or wherever it is you are. I know we have people joining us from the US. And I think Linda is there. And a very important day today in the US because it's the end of tax season. And so all the accountants are having a big celebration and stuff like that. And you might also let us know how long you have been in B1G1 right now. So go for it. I'll have a look at the chat whilst we're doing all of this, if that's possible. Let's see. And so that I can make some observations as to what's happening. Oh, look at that. Fantastic. Deb, oh my goodness, Ballina, the guys from Ballina are there. Amy down in Melbourne. Cheryl, hopefully you can hear this now in San Diego. 9 years, Jeremy, in B1G1. Wow. So keep all this stuff coming, if you would, as we get underway with our April Connect Plus. Now, as always, those of you who are regulars here would know that we do 3 things. First of all, we get to look at what I call a very quick power of small. Hi, Shane. Good to have you here as well. A very quick power of small, which is where we look at very quickly, about 8 minutes. And then we get into, by the way, you'll notice I've changed that. The regulars would notice I've changed the title of this. I used to say it's Masami's Update, but it's actually Masami's Very Useful Update. And you are going to find some really useful things on this today. And then later on, make sure you stay tuned for this surprise. Now, I happen to know what the surprise is today, and hopefully it is a huge surprise for you as well. Make sure you stay for that. So let's quickly get underway with a very quick power of small. And the thing that I want to talk about today, not particularly this guy. This is a guy called Tom Peters. Some of you who are as old as me may know Tom. Tom is correctly credited with starting the movement, if you will, of business books that became, really popular business books, and people started writing business books quite differently after 1982 when he and Bob Waterman wrote In Search of Excellence. And it's, right up there on my library pride of place. That is largely responsible for a lot of the things that I do and so on. Now, just last week, what happened was Tom released a brand new book called The Excellent Dividend. Highly recommended. There you go. There it is right there. And highly, highly, highly recommended. It is pure, unadulterated Tom, as you'll see from all of the things on the back cover when you look at it. And you can grab it up on Amazon just as I did and so on. Now, one of the most interesting things about this book that I thought was very cool for us to talk about today, because usually we talk about things, but today I thought we want to take a look at people and some fascinating things. We want to look at attracting them, and by people, I don't just mean clients, I mean team members as well, investors. How do we retain them? How do we inspire them? And I want to show you a couple of sites which are going to, I think, underscore that for you. And I think that one of the keys to all of this is to be able to focus on our why, not surprisingly, hence the reason for that Michael Jackson music earlier on. So let's go across to Canada and let's have a look at the practice of Miller Titterley. Now, the thing that I love about this, by the way, you need to know straight away that these guys are lawyers. Okay, now they look anything but lawyers, do they not? But have a look down how they begin their site. By the way, they are changing their site. They think it's a little too crowded. I think it's fascinating. But have a look at this. Talk about starting with why. Look at that right there. The practice of law is broken. And when you go to that particular site, we might put a link to it later on, you'll see how they talk about that. And it's very, very powerful. But the thing that I want you to look at is how that flips through to their entire team. In fact, when you go to that link at Miller Tithely, you will find, let's go to the Meet Our Team link. And let me just go there for you. Let's literally cross our fingers and let's go live so we can see what's happening here. So here's pictures, as you can see, of all of their people, and you'll see some interesting headshots there. And if you click on any one of these, you tend to see the same kind of format. Now, what I'm going to do is click right here on Emily, who is a business advisory lawyer. The reason I'm going to click there will become quite apparent to you in a moment. So first of all, you get that, the standard sort of thing. But what I think is really interesting is when they're talking about their people, have a look at that right there in the middle where it says YMT & Co. I fundamentally believe law, says Emily, should be practiced differently. And I'm excited that we were built on this foundation. I want to connect with my clients in a more compassionate way. And right away, I noticed that M&T has a culture. See that? That is non-traditional, inclusive, and fun. And then talking of the fun, you get down here and you see some background and you see some very interesting little things about Emily. Now, the other thing that's kind of interesting is if I just flip back here for a second. Again, this is live, and Masami, I'll put the link up in the chat as well. Let me just copy that link. There we go. But before I could put the link in the chat, as we go down, you're going to find a very interesting team member. And the very interesting team member, see that, is Norman the dog. Okay. Not your average firm, right? So let's have a look at Norman the dog and read his full bio, because it gets really interesting as well. Isn't that just the cutest photograph? And have a look at his title. Norman is the Chief Security Officer. And you can see here that he used to roam the streets of Houston. But then Danielle, one of the people whose bio is there, and look at this, in the expertise section, Norman is a natural fit for the security industry. And down the bottom here, worth noting, you'll find that all of the great things. So let me put that up in the chat if I can, Masami. Do you reckon I could do that? Let's see if I go here more, so you can see the link, and you might want to have a look there. Maybe not now, but there it is later. And we are going to remind ourselves to save the chat as well. So interesting little thing right there. Let's go back, because I want to go just a stage further on this whole people, whoops-a-daisy, I've just gone back there again, didn't want to do that, on this whole people thing. And specifically, I want to go into, because the focus in our little Connect Plus early on is people. Have a look at this. This is one of the most fascinating uses of B1G1 I've ever seen. This comes from our good friends Harvey Penne and Ben Walker up there in Brisbane at the most appropriately named Inspire CA, CA standing for Chartered Accountants. Now, you will see that for obvious reasons, I blanked out a lot of things here. But have a look at this. This came out just a few weeks ago. Some of you may have seen it on one of our things. But have a look. So, hi, name of team member. Welcome to this High Achievers Breakfast. And you can read the rest of it. So we thought an out-of-the-blue pay rise. We're going to increase your salary by this to this, plus superannuation. And as well, you keep going on your 9-day fortnight. Sounds like a great place to work. Your next financial milestone to work towards. See how they're involving their people. And then look at this. I love this. We are also gifting you, and Masami, I'm just looking for something which I should have had here. And it was my phone, but I can't find my phone, because what I was going to say was, maybe Masami, you can show us yours, because here we have someone gifting $1,000. There you go, for use on the giving platform on B1G1. And of course, how does the person do that? Notably on their mobile on the B1G1 Impact Now app. And if you haven't got that, make sure that you get it. Okay, so there you go. Very, very quick, hopefully no more than 8 minutes hopefully, stuff on the power of small, but small stuff that brings great results. And so if I just flip over here now, let's see where we go. Oh, Masami, have a guess where we go. So hopefully Masami will unmute herself, because now we have, oh, get your pencils and pens out for this, Masami's very useful update. So Masami, what I have to do is stop my share. There you go. So you can start yours. Off you go.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good morning and good evening, because there are some many people from US as well today. So let me just go to my screen share. So it's April, and we have a couple of very interesting things, and then there would be a surprise at the end, which I'm not allowed
Big
to
surprise.
talk about this time. So the first thing is this. So it's hard to explain. What's hard to explain in B1G1? I think when you are being part of B1G1, then if you get like how amazing it is to be part of the community or creating impacts and being able to really feel that your team is working together to achieve those impacts, like you might really get it, but then sometimes it's very difficult to explain to somebody else. And then when we say a lot of things, then they might still not convey the idea. So we came up with something recently that is starting to work really well. So we want to introduce it to you. So what it is called B1G1 Giving Plan. So when people are coming to us asking about the B1G1, in the past we were talking about different ways B1G1 could help businesses, or the features, or specific project, but then the amount of things we can do is so much, so it's overwhelming. So we thought, how can we flip that? So instead of telling people what we do, what about we listen to them, what they do, and how giving can fit in their business in the best way. So when you go to this page, so let me just go there myself and then show you. I hope you can see the screen. So when you come to this page, and it's a very simple step, like you just begin the process to answer a few questions. And
now, it may not be you. This will be the people that you might be inviting, right?
Yeah, it's probably not you, but your friends who may be interested in giving, then they can go to, okay, so it's me and B1G1.com. So that's just dummy answer, but then, so then they can say we sell consulting.
Okay.
Service, and then you keep going, and then okay, then so
pretty simple questions to
yeah,
us.
so we just have a few sets of questions, but then as we keep going, there are questions like what is the biggest challenge you face if you are to start giving, and then it could be that I would say, oh, I have no idea how to start, or I don't have a time, and then you keep going. And what kind of project do you resonate with? I might say, okay, we are interested in education and human rights. And what do you want to achieve from giving? Okay, I want to feel more sense of purpose. I want to make my business stand out, or actually the team engagement. So then finally, it's already complete. So now when the person submit the giving plan, so now back to my slide. So they will then have the opportunity to have a one-on-one conversation with one of our team members. And then at that time, we will go through the unique giving plan that was generated for them based on
a human being, by the way. No.
Yes, it's not the super automated, but the thing is we didn't want to take away the personal touch. So we have a streamlined system, but then we will customize this so that we actually talk to the person in a way that really can understand their business and their intention and desire, but then suggest the items that they are likely to be very interested in or would serve them, rather than trying to say everything about B1G1. So through this nurturing and the conversation connecting process, we've already created many B1G1 members, but then we realized that actually the people who used to tell us that, oh, it's actually hard to explain what B1G1 is and how great it is was you, as in B1G1 members around the world. So we thought, well, actually, it would be a great way for B1G1 members to invite their contacts to try this giving plan. So then what we did was, because we thought it would be a good thing to make it easy for you to do that, we added in the invitation message. So here is your invite section. So you go to B1G1's system login and then go to connect tab and invite. So when you go to the invite feature now, you actually see that this link to the giving plan is already included in the suggested message. And of course, you can customize this suggested message to make it you, but then you can share this link and invite your friend to try the giving plan. So we could personally take care of your important contact. And then if they become giving businesses themselves, then of course, again, you and your friend will get the special giving credit credited to your account. So you can add to the impact you are creating together. And we will be counting your leverage giving impact, which means all your connections who join B1G1 through you, their impact will be also amalgamated as your leverage to giving impact, which is your giving footprint. So I hope you will be happy to try this out, and we can have our connections with many other interesting. Next thing I wanted to talk about is the B1G1 book. And just in case you don't know what this means, I just wanted to introduce you what happened in the last 2 years, which is really exciting. So in July 2016, we had the very first Business for Good conference, and it was in Bali because B1G1's idea was actually born in Bali 12 years ago. So we thought it would be great to come together in Bali to celebrate it. And during that conference, one of the participants, Steve Pipe, who is an enthusiastic B1G1 partner, long-term partners, creating millions of giving impacts already. So he said, my family want to volunteer to create this book. So then the book called Better Business, Better Life, Better World was born. So at that time, 34 authors, co-authors said, we want to be part of this book. So we contributed the content. Steve's family came together to, publish this book, and it became, so we had 34 authors, and it became Amazon bestseller as well. So that was the book that was published at the end of 2016. Then, in the conference,
and it was a bestseller across 3 categories, wasn't it?
Yeah, like a business reference, and also in Australia and UK, Amazon. Yep. So that was a great success for the very first book, and and then what happened was at the conference in July 2017, 1 year later, and since we were visiting 3 different continents, areas, parts of the world to do 3 conferences, we thought we could actually make this stretch a bit more and then accommodate more people to be part of this fantastic book.
Some of whom are on the call, by the way.
And so what happened? So I wanted to give you a quick update about what happened with this second book. So this is the mock-up cover. It still says coming soon. So what happens is we are starting a pre-launch, and then it will be launched soon on Amazon as well. But for this book, we had 62 authors. And amazingly, coordinating with 62 people writing and going through all the design and the edits, and that's been amazing work. But then it's been great because everybody's just so supportive, and we've got fantastic contributions in this book, beautiful book. Now, another amazing thing was because we've already pre-sold so far 8,000 copies. So amazing, right? What happened was this book already have the right to have an international bestseller status. So when it's officially released, then it will carry the golden badge saying international bestseller, which is amazing, even before going on Amazon. So then another thing was that this book also carries a message of some prominent people, like Australian #1 business blogger Bernadette Jiwa, Paul often talks about, and Daniel Flynn, who is the founder of Thank You Group, making amazing things happen around the world. So these are among the 62 authors, including
Yannick Silver.
So many.
Yeah,
Yes, Yannick Silver, US is #1 best-selling author in the category as well. So now, and you can see the back cover as well, that there are some lovely photos, and so this is a bit more colorful, and it has a very strong B1G1 message, the giving message as well, as you go into this book. So it's a very good introduction book about the community, and the subtitle of this book this time is called The Movement. So instead of saying Better Business, Better Life, Better World version 2, we said actually this book need to stand alone as well, even though it's a series of collective books too. So we chose this because this was really the symbolic, like how the power of small could make amazing impact when we become part of a great giving movement. So I hope you get to read this. And so what we are doing is, yes, we are.
By the way, this has been pretty much Masami, this has been pretty much a 12-month project, right, to birth this, at least a 9-month project. And I've got to say, when you read this thing, it is spine-chillingly good. It really is something we all can be very proud of. So, yeah, talk about the pre-order. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and because this is going through a publishing house. Last time we did self-publishing, but this went through publisher. So they are putting this book into bookstores as well. So that the circulation of this book is going to be significant too. So now, even though it hasn't been officially launched, you can express your interest to pre-order. Then what happens is the authors of this book will be receiving their first run of the print. So they will all have some copies available, and then we will be together releasing that as a pre-order. So depending on your location, we will be able to actually match you with the author nearby, so that they will be able to send it to you after they've got their initial copy. So what we would love you to do is to put a comment if you are keen to be on that list.
Just say yes.
Yeah. Then we will look at that, and then anyway, we will be sending you an email about this. So we will make sure that you get a copy before the Amazon launch, and then when the Amazon book will go out, then we would love you to go and then make reviews as well. So together we can boost this. That leads to many other great things later as well.
And I tell you, this is a book you are going to love. And for those of you who don't know, this is all about writing a message to the authors, all written a message to their grandchild, telling them how to create a better business, better life, better world. And as I said earlier on, it is spine-chillingly good. So if you want to be one of the first people to get the spine chill, put yes in that pre-order. And as Masami said, we'll then link you with someone that is close to you so they can deliver the book straight to you, the hard copy, not the digital.
And then another thing was, because we just so loved this book, we thought like, well, we cannot not do something special for this. And since the conference is happening in Singapore in July, and many of the members are coming here as well, we thought, what if we did a book launch? So we've got 5 of the authors to say, I will co-host this, and then we will be having this very special networking and book launch evening just the night before the conference, and all of the B1G members are of course invited. So this is the screen, but we will be sending you the link. Oh, sorry, I didn't go there yet. We will be sending you the link to the event. But also, if you are coming to the conference but haven't booked the ticket yet, then please do make sure you book it, book the ticket, and then also book the hotel as well, because we have a very limited quite limited number of special rate rooms available for our group. And the hotel is saying, please make sure that the people book earlier so they can guarantee the room at the hotel for our group. And then even though if you haven't booked, you missed the great early bird offer. What we are doing is because you took the time this morning, this evening, today to be on this call. So we will be secretly sharing a special code with you, which will do something special for your ticket booking. So please wait for the email and then take action. If you want to be part of it, if you can come, if you have questions, then just let our team know so we can clarify all the things for you so you can consider to be there with us. It's going to be an amazing 2.5 days, 3 days optionally. So now we are going to the B1G1 surprise. Paul,
oh, you had a link there for me. By the way, lots of yeses on the book. Anthony and so on. Oh, awesome. So make sure if you haven't already done it, and you'd like that pre-order, yes, pop it up there, or yep, as someone said, put it up there on the chat. Okay, so normally at this point, of course, what would happen is Masami would tell you about the big surprise, but today I get to do that, and in a moment you'll see the reason why I get to do it as soon as I share my screen with you. So let me just click share screen. We just animate the fact that it's you could do a drum roll if you like. There we go, the surprise. Look at that. And to talk about the surprise, I want you to think of someone that you probably know, or at least have heard of, if not have heard, and that is, of course, Elton John. And a few, I say, of course, hopefully you recognize him. That is not me. That's not the big surprise. But you know, Paul got a new jacket. No. So have a look at this. It came out about 9 weeks ago. A little video. Here we go. Look at that, 3 years. And in typical Elton style, going out with a big bang. Now you might say, well, what is this? Is Elton John becoming part of B1G1? Is that the big surprise? No, that would be very nice if it was, but that's not the big surprise, because it turned out on the day that Elton announced he was retiring, that was when I had, I got a lump in my throat, a conversation with the team where I said, you know what, I think it's about time that I kind of did an Elton John thing, which is quote unquote retire, but from, you know, this massive schedule that I have very intensively traveling around the world. That doesn't mean I'm giving away B1G1, just finding you're doing different things in B1G1. And importantly, what that also means is that in order to prepare for that, we've had to develop all sorts of things, including our team members and everything else, so that B1G1 can continue to grow with your fantastic support and with you know, things like the giving plan and all of those sorts of things. Now, Elton is it's going to take him 3 years to stop doing it. But with me, it's not going to take quite 3 years. In fact, what we've done is something very, very, very special. And let me share my screen with you, and you will see what that is. Hopefully, if I share my screen again, you will see. Let's see, Masami, you might just let me know whether you can see this. It should say something like, here we go. It should say something like the Impact World Tour. There you go. You got it, right? So let me just blow it up for you. Now, if you look at the small print, the reason that this is good is, notice, B1G1 founders Masami and Paul. And so the thing that is very special about this impact, well, a number of things that are very special about it. One of them is that it's not just me doing my thing and all of that kind of stuff. It's Paul and Masami, which of course makes it even more attractive than double, right? When you hear Masami speak, it's just an amazing experience. And so we've crafted and put together what I think is a fantastic morning and we're doing this right around the world. It's starting in September. Now, so many people who kind of got a whiff of this have already said things like, oh my gosh, can you come and do that in my community? Can we be a part? Can we bring our business friends? Of course, the answer to that is absolutely you can. We want this to have a massive impact. Clearly, it's going to have a massive impact on me, but we want it to have a massive impact on you and the business community that you're a part of. And so, if you would love to be a part of this, there's a couple of ways you can do it. I mean, obviously, you can come along and all of that kind of stuff. But one of the things you might want to do is actually host or sponsor the event. It's very simple to do all of that, by the way. In your particular community. So if you would love to do that, just write the word yes, host or sponsor or whatever. The yes will be fine. Maybe followed by impact. And then what we will do is we will get in touch with you and make sure that we together in your community, wherever that is, where we can jointly make an impact with you. So once again, jump up on the chat and let us know that you'd love to be doing that. Oh, look at that. So many people. Whoa, 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 whoa.
That is.
That is awesome. Oh my goodness. Doug in Houston. Yeah. And Doug Winnie there in Houston. Hi, Doug. The evening there already played a massive part in growing the the US base. And by the way, on our next B1G1 Connect Plus, we might even give you some interesting insight into something brand new that's happening in the US as well with B1G1. But we'll save that until next time. For now, oh, look at all these yeses, Masami. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. And one of the things that I sometimes forget to do is to save the chat. So
please
save it. Yeah, I press save. But if Masami is still monitoring that, so let's do this. Let me just come back. I didn't quite know how I was going to get through that, by the way, because obviously this has been and continues to be part of my life, and it will be for years to come, one hopes. But when you touch 75, which, I mean, Elton's giving it up when he's 70. I mean, I've got 5 years on him. So time to kind of do some new things within B1G1 so that the movement really can grow. And of course, part of growing the movement is you turning up and being in places. And one of those places is right here this morning. It's hard for me to express just how much it means for us, to the fact that, you know, you just do that you turn up, you get involved, all of the lovely little chat things. So Masami, did you want to say a thank you, and then I'll say one? And but thank you, Masami. I loved your little update this morning.
Yeah, great to see you everyone today, and thank you for being here. And yeah, there is so much more coming, and but looking back, all these things, like the amazing things that have happened, whether conference or book or, you know, everything, you made it possible, and so we are so grateful, and we are also excited that now is the time that we can actually let you let you actually lead the movement, no longer just me and Paul, but there are so many great people in this community who can spread the word, who can really impact the businesses around the world and people around the world, and you are the one. So thank you.
As our good friend Roger used to say, what if you're the one that we have been waiting for? Right? So anyway, we didn't have to wait for you this morning. You were here, and we are so grateful for the fact that you were. and importantly, not just that you were here, but that you're part of this amazing thing called B1G1. It could not happen without you. We are so grateful. Make sure, I think it's Wednesday, could be, no, it's Tuesday actually in some parts of the world when the people are listening to this. Whatever day it is, make sure that your day is a day that's full of giving and contributing and so on. And make sure that you keep on doing amazing things. From us, thank you so much for being here. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
See you at the next one.
Indeed.